addressing you here tonight on the 13th anniversary of Internet in the Philippines. I did not know that I had to work for my dinner tonight. Truthfully, I did not prepare anything. I just wanted to be able to mingle with you and say hello and get to know most of the players in the internet and also meet Secretary Sales. Uh, but I thought of, when one asked me, I said, do we have time? You wanted the whole story. I said, I don't think we do. So I'm just going to give you some brief insights and also to acknowledge some of the people who really contributed to internet in the Philippines. And one of them is the late Rick, Dr. Rick Gloria, who at that time was the Secretary of the Department of Science and Technology. I have great fondness for Rick, and I'm sorry to hear that he passed away. So he's not too well known as the man really responsible for internet in the Philippines. As you know, the grandfather of internet in the Philippines is Bill Torres. Bill, since he got back in the States, was working in IT, and he was trying to get various government agencies to set up internet in the Philippines. And he tried to lobby the various secretaries of industry from 1986, 87 on. And I think he gave up after a while. But it so happened that there was a group of whiz kids in computing, whiz kids in Ateneo, LaSalle, UP, UST, and several other schools who got together and said, let's try to get internet in the Philippines set up. So they went to Rick Gloria and he gave them a good listening ear. So he said, okay, I'll give you 50,000 pesos to set up internet in the Philippines. So they said, well, it's a good start. So with 50,000 pesos they used it up in dial-up long distance charges to Australia, which agreed to set up a node for the Philippines. But they thought that 50,000 would last 6 months. Well, in about 2 months' time to use up. So they went back to the USD and said, well, we need more money. We would like to have full internet access. And so they came up with a project study, a one-page project study. And in that one-page project study, the cost of setting up internet in the Philippines was supposed to be 8 million pesos. By the way, before in Congress, they had allotted something like 100 million to set up some kind of internet in communications, which went, disappeared. Anyway, the various schools, the various computer departments could not decide on who was going to be the lead school to set up the internet. Ateneo wanted it, LaSalle wanted it, UP wanted it, USD wanted it, and so forth. So they said, well, let's get somebody who is not connected with schools to set it up. And at that time, the Industrial Research Foundation was working very closely with DOST. So DOST wrote a letter to the board of the Industrial Research Foundation, headed up by Ito Carlos, and asked if we would be interested in setting up internet in the Philippines, because the schools could not decide who was going to be the lead group. I was just invited to join the board at the time, and they said, well, Rudy, you're it. You take charge. I said, okay. It was a challenge. I didn't really know very much about full internet access. I heard about email and so on and so forth. My kids were studying in Syracuse at the time. So I got together with the group that technical group of about 12 people. This was about late September. No, sorry, late October. He said, sorry, but I'm going to go on vacation for a month, but I'll be back beginning December. So I said, this is your one-page project study, and I said, I don't think it's enough money. So I had with me the executive director, Cesar Santos of the IRF, and after the meeting with the technical group, I said, let's go over the project study, add this, add that, so on and so forth. But I had to leave, so I said, Cesar, bahala ka na. So I left, and meanwhile, a good friend of ours, Dr. John Brule, who happened to be also the mentor of one of my children in Syracuse University, was delighted to hear that I was going to be in charge of Internet, because he was organizing the first and the last international email conference in San Carlos, Cebu. So he wanted to, get me in on this Internet thing. So I listened to him, spent a few days with him. When I get back in early December, Cesar called me up, Cesar Santos, and said, Truly, approve niyo yung budget natin sa TUST. Kailan? Sabi niya, on November 24. But your signature is not there. Everybody has signed this grant. So I said, how much, by the way, how much was our budget? Because I left without knowing how much the total budget would be. He said, 12.5 million. Pwede na siguro, bahala na. So when I studied it, I said, well, I found out the schools wanted free internet access. I said, we'll have internet for 4 months, and then, wala na. After that. So meanwhile, I started working on getting lease lines worked out, and network of lease lines, and also international lease line to the States. I contacted 5 telcos, among them Globe, PLDT, and so on and so forth. And then I decided to meet with them one by one. But Tito Carlos was with me all the time. I asked him to sit in on all our meetings to find out how much they would charge for the network that we proposed. And at the beginning of the meeting, they would always ask me, Dr. Villarica, do you have money already for this? And I said, no, but it's promised to me by TUST. So they asked, when is that coming? He said, I don't know, but they approved the project. So here I was negotiating with the various telcos without any money. And I was negotiating at that time with Willie Gan for purchasing equipment. Again, no money. Well, the money finally came middle or end of January 1994. And meanwhile, I decided to take up the proposal of PLDT, which I thought was the best, the cheapest, and so on and so forth. And I made orders for the various routers and so on and so forth with Willie Gan. So at least I had some money at the time for it. And then I got together the schools. We were supposed to form the PHNet, which is Philippine Network Foundation Inc. But we just had informal meetings with the various heads of the schools. And I told them the bad news. I said, with 12.5 million pesos, it's not going to last very long. I'm afraid I'm going to have to charge you for the use of internet. Oh, they were so surprised, I said, what? Charge us? I said, yeah. I'll give you 1 or 2 months, 2 months free internet, but after that you have to pay. And then I found out that in spite of that, we still did not have enough money, so we decided on preferred internet users, such as ADB, AIM, and so on and so forth, who would pay, instead of the schools who were paying $1,000 per month, they would pay $4,000 per month for access. And remember, at that time we had an international private lease line for only 64K. So the whole Philippines was hanging by only 64K, and we paid $11,000 a month for that. So afterwards I found out not so bad, because China at the time was also starting, and they had only 64K also line. Of course, Malaysia was a little richer. They had, I think, 128 or 256K for internet access. But you know, $11,000 a month is a lot of money. Even at the time, the exchange rate was about 25. So that's 250,000, 300,000 a month. And our money was only 12.5 million. And we still had to buy equipment, we had to rent everything. Anyway, I set the target for myself, that a personal target, that I set it up by April. But I told everybody else that we'd have full internet access by June. So I worked towards that personal goal, and we set it so that it would coincide with the first international email conference set up by John Boulay, Dr. Boulay in Cebu. And everybody's surprised that on 10:18 a.m., March 29, we made our first full international access in Cebu at the first and last international email conference. So much so that we had been talking to APP people, and they said, well, you know, a bunch of academic people setting up the internet, no way. But when they found out that 2 months after we talked to them, we had full internet access, they immediately signed up for $4,000 a month. That's one of our rules. So that, and eventually, a lot of people also came in and found out that it could be profitable. So once the profitability aspect came in, it just took off. But there's a private story also that I'd like to tell regarding Rick Gloria. Shortly after, I was informed that we had the budget approved. I went in to see him, and I said, Rick, I hope you will not get too worried. He said, why? Well, you know, you approved something that you might get really heavily criticized for. I said, why? He said, you know, in the internet, there's a lot of pornography. And you will get a lot of flack for approving and for, you know, giving money towards access to internet, which has a lot of pornography. I said, Rick, don't worry. I said, the wealth of information that we can get from internet far outweighs the dangers of pornography. And I think that is true even today. After all, you know, people do get tired of pornography after a while. So I would like to really, this 13th anniversary, just make one point, and that is to give credit where I believe credit is due. And that is Rick Gloria. May the rest in peace. He was a great man. He had vision. All the other previous secretaries did not possess his vision for this. He saw that it was, he didn't really know what it was all about, but he believed that there was some good that could be had by accessing internet. And also another, just two more acknowledgements. Philippine Network Foundation had a hard time surviving. Were it not for providing for two people, principally, and this is not known at all, who helped us with cheaper international lease lines. And that is Martin Tarnate. I don't know if you know him. And also Tony Acu. These are two guys that I had not acknowledged previously, but they helped the setting up, full setting up of the internet in the Philippines. So with that, I think the rest is history. It's much bigger than I had imagined it to be. I'm really humbled by the effect of what the Industrial Research Foundation and we have done for our country, bringing us into the world. As I was saying before when I used to give various talks, Magellan discovered the Philippines in Cebu. I'm Cebuano, by the way. And Cebu discovered the world through the internet. Thank you.